Ladies and gentlemen, this is Serral versus Clam. Best of 5, Grand Finals, Home Story Cup. Who will win on Oceanborn? I did not get the chance to see this whole series live. I got to peek some of it while I was running a subathon. But now I get to enjoy the match in all of its glorious detail. And the nice thing about having a replay cracked open is you can pause, back it up, look at the different players' views. Or one thing that I like to do, if I'm ever like really in the training and practice mindset, is just take the Serral view and just sit back and watch Zerg win. The nice thing about watching Serral replays is the Zerg wins. And many Zergs have struggles like, hey, Terran is really strong right now, how do I win? And they don't know. But if you put on a Serral replay, you can just absorb the knowledge and the skill. You don't necessarily get the speed and the control by watching. You still have to practice all of that yourself, but in terms of the game flow, you can see how a Zerg can drone up and still be relatively safe. The first thing of note here for his opener is he's going for the 14 hatch and 14 pool build. This puts him in a really nice position to deal with the first Reaper. And the reason for that is when you get the hatch and the pool this early, you get 2 queens by the time the first Reaper shows up. So it makes the defense of that first Reaper nice and clean. He's getting his gas at 18 supply. Cool. And I think with this build, you can skip lings. At least until Hellions become a problem. Let's take a look and see what happens. Big picture-wise, Liquid Clam, he has 1 Reaper on the way, and the barracks is in the wall. And he's getting a factory here. So a little bit of a different building placement. A lot of times Terrans put their stuff up here, but Clam put his stuff here. Do you pronounce it Liquid Clem or Liquid Clam? And please give your reasons why. There's a reactor coming up here. Could be Cyclones. Could be Marines. Could be Hellions. My guess is Hellions. Reaper shows up, and with this amazing build, boom! By the time the Reaper shoots the drone, the Queen is ready and then injects right away. 3rd Queen coming up in the main. He's made 0 lings. He's trying to escort the drone. This drone just wants to go to soccer practice, but the bully is here. But the Queen's like, you leave them alone! And the base is taken, the drone made it to soccer practice. Or as people everywhere outside the US say, football. And it does make sense, you play soccer with your foot, so I get it. I get it. Football to me is still the, we wear helmets and smash each other's sport though. As an American, I played a lot more American football than I played soccer. Learned a lot of life lessons playing a sport like football. Really any sport that puts the athlete under stress, requires them to do cardio and exercise and work together. It can build a lot of life skills. There's also a lot of toxic behavior that can happen in sports teams and stuff though too, so make of these things what you will. I'm glad that I did some sports though. Ooh, 2 Cyclones into a Cyclone and a Hellion. This Overlord makes it safely to the high ground. Nice, clap. That may seem like a small thing, but losing an early Overlord really sucks. Whoa, Serral goes for a counter with a very small amount of lings, but it's just enough to punish these Cyclones. And they don't have Hellion support right now. Oh my gosh, that is a massive play. It's hard to call that a blunder because it's such a random catch for him to get. Amazing. Crazy move by Serral there. He sends in the Overlord here. He's like, you know what? You're going to kill us with a Viking in 2 seconds anyway, so might as well die bravely scouting you. Amazing play. Serral's ahead. That put him ahead. Those units, while they're cheaper than they used to be, are still relatively expensive. And you really don't want to lose the first two for free. He lost, like, how many units here? Units lost tab. Serral lost 262, and Clem lost 350. 350 of units. Queens trying to hold the front here. It does take Cyclones a minute to kill Queens, so you can oftentimes fall back and break that lock-on leash. They did nerf the lock-on leash range. It used to be 87 range, but now it's like 6 or 8. I think it's 6 for the initial lock-on. Oh, it's 9. 9 for the lock-on. So if you get 9 units away, then it'll break. It used to be like 16. I think if I'm not exaggerating, it was about 16 range. They're just land tempests. Okay, so Clem has a polar bear icon. We'll see how that pans out. Oh, he's going bio. Bio with 2 factories. Interesting. Third command center is getting set up here. He's got a Hellion. Gonna deal with this Ling. So he just makes like a smattering of Cyclone Hellion and then goes into bio. Weird. I've faced 0 Terrans who play this way. Clem is widely regarded as the best EU Terran, and potentially the best Terran in the world. So a lot of Terrans will be basically just copying whatever Clem does. Oh man. The heavy punishment of a lack of a wall off and a lack of defense. Serral just goes for a big Ling run by. He felt safe enough with his roaches and queens to defend at home, so he just yeeted all of his Lings. At the third base, gets 12 SCV kills. One thing that I saw Serral do, I think during his initial reign of terror, whenever he was like unbeatable that one year where he ended up winning BlizzCon and all that, and he just didn't lose, was whenever he has, say, his first round of units like Lings, and then he makes a secondary round of units, like in this case Roach Ravager, he turns the previous army group into his offense team, and the newest group is his defense team. So there he felt confident to defend with some roaches and stuff. And he used his prior army group, the Lings, to just do a big counterattack whenever the Cyclones were on his half of the map. Ended up paying off big time. He is super duper ahead. Super duper ahead. How many workers has he killed? He's killed 14 workers. Basically a full base of mineral saturation. Cyclones and Marines trying to hold this off. Okay, the tank is here, so I think this push is kind of reaching the end of its time. Hive is on the way. Hydra Den, he's going range attack and armor. Hive is nice against double factory. Viper is one of Zerg's strongest units still. It just brings so much to the table. Mines and tanks. The Marine count is going to be fairly low compared to a lot of bio styles you might suspect. There's like 8 racks builds that Terrans will do, and he's got 4. And the reason he can't have a ton of barracks here is because he has 2 factories, and these are pretty expensive to use. He's not even able to use them right now. He doesn't have the money because he lost so much eco. There haven't really been that many things that went in Clem's favor this game. Serral's got just kind of checking his unit management here. He's got 7 queens on a key, and they're just over here ready to defend this drop. He also sees another drop over here. He has 1 main army group, and then I think these 2 units are probably the Vipers. And he also has another kind of left side of his territory group of these 11 roaches. So he's got 3 groups to deal with the drops right now. The main army on the right, the secondary army on the left, the queen, and then he also has the Vipers on their own key. And then he's got his hatches,
And he's got his Evos hotkeyed, and he has... These might be Injector Creep Queens, but he has 4 of them there. Lurkers are on the way. He's getting 2-2 as well. Overlord speed. Seismic Spines, which is Lurker range. Mine's getting set up. Chat saying 2018 was the Serral Reign of Terror. I think Serral is in a similar spot right now to that period. It feels like this year he's basically uncontested as the strongest player. At least that's what it seems like, based on how everyone talks about him and his results. Lurkers are pushing. This is Roach Ravager Ling Lurker Viper. And just to kind of get a sense of this positioning, he didn't face check the army and like run all the lurkers at the army. He put the lurkers in a key spot between bases. So just putting them down here and then pulling stuff into his army. That way a lot of these backline units aren't really getting any value, and he doesn't force the issue by pushing uphill. He just stays downhill and pulls his opponent down. Each of these tank abducts is a super efficient trade for him. And if he can chip away at the tank count, Marines and Medivacs are not very good against lurkers. Gets the Blinding Cloud on both of them. Serral is up in supply, and he's pretty much maxed and has a bank. So all the boxes are being checked here. He has more bases, he has more gases, he has more tech, he has more upgrades. Let's see the production tab again. Oh, there are ghosts out. Ghosts can snipe things. Oh, the Viking might be able to kill this. Oh, there are Hydras here, though. Man. Do we need to nerf Zerg again? He just looks so strong. Oh no, ghosts are still really good. This is a very one-sided game. Oh my gosh. Jeez. Basically everything went in Serral's favor. He opened up the match with the 14 hatch build with the early pool, so he had 2 quick queens. The first Reaper did nothing. And then Clem went for 2 Cyclone Harass, and Serral had, it was like 10 lings in the grass right here. Maybe it was 12. It was a small amount. And they cut off and kill these 2 Cyclones. From that point, Clem was just playing catch up the whole game. And then whenever he committed his Cyclones to attack over here, the 20 lings at the third just completely devastated Clem's economy. There was basically no way to get back into the game with how well Serral can multitask and defend stuff later on. Insane. Insanely strong game and very one-sided. Wow.